What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. Well, this is a new show alert. Now, I'm a little late getting here to the party, but we are here now. So there's a new show. It is a web reality series over on CRW TV over onto the YouTube, right? It is an LGBTQ based show. It is executive produced by Wuda Lee and my man Markel. You guys know Markel. You know Wuda from originally from Chasing Dallas. They have both spun off to do their own thing. So this is Wuda Lee's show over on his channel, and it is called CRW. The name of the show is The Crew Dallas. So it's a show starring Wuda and some of his friends. So we have Wuda, Zell, Eric, Kendu, Whitney, sorry, I can't read my own handwriting, child, and Antonio. Now, we know Wuda Lee from Chasing Dallas. We know Eric James from Chasing Dallas and The Retreat. We know Antonio from Chasing Dallas. If you watched not the last season, but the season before that, Antonio had a very, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Explosive situation with Reese G. And at the end of the season, he ain't finished the season, child. He ain't finished the season. And then same thing with Eric James. He had a very explosive season as well. So, and then we get to meet some of Wuda Lee's other friends. So the premise of this show, we have pretty much everybody getting back to their new normal, coming out of, you know, the Panorama that we were in for 2 years. Antonio talks about the fact that he had to put a pause on his skincare company, and he's trying to relaunch it. He said, you know, during the Panorama, I took a pause, and that, you know, couple of weeks, I was pausing it for a couple of months, turned into a year. And so we see him trying to relaunch. Whitney, who is Wuda's best friend. They've been friends for years. They're best friends. He has a podcast, and he's trying to branch out and get to know more people and things like that. And so let's just get into the show, right? So Wuda, the first episode we see Wuda Lee talking to Antonio. And basically Wuda is like, listen, you know, everybody's been kind of in their own little cocoon, but I want you to, you know, meet some of my friends, and maybe, you know, I know things didn't really work out with the Chasing Dallas situation, but, you know, I have some friends and I think it would be cool for you to meet them. And Antonio's like, you know what, I'm cool. Well, call Antonio, child. He said, I think that's cool. You know, I'm open to it. I'm down for meeting some new people and building a new friend group. You know, I'm here for it. So the next scene, I kind of already told y'all what they talked about when I was giving y'all the introduction. So the next scene, we see Whitney and we see Antonio meeting up, and, you know, basically they're having that whole, you know, it's nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Well, what did Wuda tell you about me? Well, what did Wuda tell you about me? And again, Whitney and Wuda have been best friends for a long time, and he has a podcast. And Antonio, again, tells him about the skincare company and, you know, just how life has been since the Panorama and things like that. And Whitney says, listen, I'm having a birthday party for my boy Zell, and I would like for you to come, and that'd be a good chance for you to sort of meet the crew and get to know everybody. And Antonio was like, okay, sounds like a good time. I'm here for it. I'm down. So far, you know, everything is kind of cool. Now, I feel like they was a little shady to each other, but not in a bad way. Just in a, you know, I'm going to throw a couple of jabs and kind of see how you respond. Because they just getting to know each other. So Antonio said, look, I'm shady. And I don't know if Whitney would consider himself to be shady, but he was being a little shady in that conversation. He was kind of jabbing a little bit in that conversation. So I don't know. Then we see Wuda meeting up with his friend Zell. Now, Wuda is late, okay? He blame everybody that's late, blame it on traffic. This is what I'm going to say about that. If you know traffic bad, leave earlier. I'm just saying. Everybody say, girl, you know how the traffic is. You know how the traffic is. Then leave earlier. Don't do that. Don't be having people waiting on y'all. And Wuda was late. To the point where Zell was like, I'm ready to go. So Wuda shows up, and we find out that Zell does fashion design, and he's working on launching his brand. And again, it's his birthday, and so he's single, and, you know, he's single, ready to mingle. He's looking to meet some people and do some things. And him and Buddha have a good conversation about that, about his party and the dating life and what they got going on and that kind of thing. I feel like something else happened in that scene that I don't have in my notes. I'm sorry, y'all. I might have to just come back later because I feel like I'm missing something in my notes. But anyway, so then we see Eric and Antonio meet up, and this is where it gets spicy. So Eric and Antonio meet up, and again, they know each other from the Chasing Dallas days, right? Well, at least they weren't on the same season, but they sort of overlap, in that being on that brand. And we find out that Wooda is feeling some kind of way about Antonio. Somebody then called Wooda and warned him about Antonio, told him watch his back because Antonio is shady and he's a little shisty and he need to watch his back. And so Wooda is kind of upset by it, like, well, what has he been saying about me? What kind of things has he been going around saying and talking trash about me that all of a sudden people feel like they gotta warn me about him and put me on red alert. And so Eric is telling Tonio, like, you might want to call him and find out what's going on because he seemed to be real upset. He seemed to feel some kind of way. And Antonio was like, I might have said something shady because I'm shady. Matter of fact, I probably said something shady, but I don't think it was serious. You could be shady and not be serious, like be mad about something. So he was like, I probably was. He said, I'm going to call Wooda because it ain't that serious. Like, it ain't that deep. I was just talking to Wooda. Everything was cool. So it ain't even that deep. Now, Eric lets us know that he off on sex cruises, signing NDAs and stuff, child. I could have lived without that information. I'm only telling y'all because I have to live with the vision of Eric James at an orgy. And I didn't need that vision in my head. So I feel like if I got to hear it, I'm going to just share the information. So they were just catching up on, because they were actually cool. They've hung out together. They're actually friends. So they were just kind of, talking about what they had going on or whatever other than that. Now, here's where the party comes in. Now, we had the party. Oh, I'm sorry. We missed the whole scene. Hold on, because I want to get the baby name. Kendu. Kendu is a very accomplished fashion designer, and we have a very a scene with him doing a model call for his fashion show for his latest line. Now he's done lines with Shein and other fashion. Like, he's very, very accomplished, and we saw him go through his process of putting together one of his shows and everything. And that was cool to see. So we're at the party, and Whitney is like, well, I wanted this to be very intimate. They just kept using the word intimate. That was code word for I ain't invite nobody but y'all. He said, well, we still in the middle of a situation, and I ain't want to have too many people around. We getting to know each other. I don't need to be adding too many people into the mix. And so I feel like at the end of the day, basically what you were saying was, I only invited y'all. Don't expect nobody else. Don't look for nobody else because ain't nobody else coming. It's just us. So, Kendall was there. Zell is there. Whitney is there. So, Antonio actually shows up next. I don't think Eric showed up, but don't quote me on that. I ain't write Eric's name down in my notes, but Eric might have been there, child. I don't know. But Antonio and Zell, they kind of flirted a little bit. It wasn't very obvious. It was very subtle, It was subtle. But at the end of the day, Wooda shows up, and Wooda got an attitude. Now, listen, let me tell y'all something. I have known Wooda for years. And when I say no, we ain't best friends. We don't hang out. I've never met him in person. But I mean via social media and being on Chasing Dallas and stuff. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and he's always been a sweetheart. He has always been a sweetheart, and at the end of the day, Wooda showed up and he was real nasty. He was nasty. He started talking about, he started fat shaming Antonio. Now, Buddha, I'm not gonna take offense to that because you know I am fat. So I'm not gonna take offense to the fact that you was fat shaming Antonio. I feel like you was just trying to take jabs at Antonio because you was mad about Antonio and what he did and didn't have, or what he said or did not say about you. But it made for a very awkward situation. You created a very awkward situation for everybody, and it was probably embarrassing for Antonio. Like, for him to be sitting there in front of somebody that clearly, because what happened was, I think the question was, who are you attracted to here? And Zell was like, well, you know, Antonio's kind of nice looking, and Wooda gonna say, oh, you like him like that? You like him big like that, or thick like that? I said, he might have even said fat. I was not ready, Wooda. I wasn't ready for the shade, Wooda. I wasn't ready. So anyway, that was pretty much the first episode. Of course, that was the end of that party, okay? That was the first episode. Now we are on episode 4, so I'm gonna get us caught up. But y'all go check it out. It's a good show, and y'all know those are my folks. So y'all go check it out. Let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.